In the raw, RK's Guyana Free Media. I'm your friend and your brother Hajji, Dr. Roshan Khan. In the raw. This is my second recording for Sunday, September 4th, but which will be spread out over the week. I already did one with one of my favorite presenters, Christopher Ram. And this is now the same one from the same newspaper. But it's not the same topic, a soulful journey, reflecting really Freddie Kissoon. Freddie is reflecting a bit. I guess it happens to all of us as we age. We think of the positives, the negatives, the mistakes we have made. And trust me, I have made mistakes, and so does all of us, so has all of us. Somewhere along the line, career-wise, family-wise, emotional-wise, whatever-wise, we have all made some mistakes. So before I read that, just to let you know, I am in a family get-together mood, and I'm going to cook. Here is my items. So I'm going to cook for them. My son just brought me some extra he wanted. He wanted cream soda with milk, like a kind of a milkshake. He bought some hot dog. So I'm going to have to make those hot dog. And there's the family wants some, well, I'm making some chicken stew, but it looks more like a soup to me. And it's a recipe I saw from the Mediterranean. And all my stuff here that I will need to do my job. I have to get one of those things that you could cook on, you could wash on, and it's mobile, and so on. But this is the situation as it is. I'm going to cook. One must find time for family. One must find time for grandchildren and children. Even if they're big, they're still your children. And you try to keep the family together and to teach them the value of good relations with siblings, parents, and humanity in general. So yes, you know, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, this is in the raw. And so I'm chatting, I'm fixing, I'm trying to prepare things. My son wants milkshake, local milkshake. He didn't get me my ice cream. I would have make him a super milkshake. And he didn't get me the Banks DIH cream soda. He got me Soca. I support DDL products, but the best milkshake maker in the world is Banks DIH. Back to Freddie. You know, my political commentator hero. And so he has a beautiful article here. It seems very beautiful. Before I start cooking, every minute of my life must be constructive. My post-2020 self, after the 2020 elections, he is saying something about himself. The changes, the experience, and life has brought on to him. Many of the people that he will mention here were his personal friends. Men like David Hinds, they work in the WP together. And several others, Mark BENSCHOP. They were like a team at one time, but things and times have changed. So let me start to read from him, his article. Mr. Ralph Ramkaran, and operator, he put up his photograph properly, he's a gentleman and scholar. And I had our differences, but I hold no special hard feelings against Ralphie. I have no hard feelings against anyone. We must learn to fight each other in the political arena and then sit down and acknowledge we are humans that must believe in the humanity of all of us and preserve a cordial attitude to each other. My exact sentiments. You all know this. It's like the lawyers and the judges knowing each other, but when they enter into the courtroom, the prosecutor and the defense are at war, and a judge, their friend, is in the middle, each one with a different responsibility. But basically the same in politics and life. This is how I am. But I know people who carry this grudge like perpetually in the heart. And such people usually are dangerous. Let me go back to what he's saying. I ended the last point to preserve a cordial attitude toward each other. If I see Mark BENSCHOP I will certainly accept a coffee chat with him. They were best of friends. But they have diverted from that relationship as a result of politics. And Mark BENSCHOP is a diehard APNO, PNC, and hater of Barajagde or PPPC, and it is alleged by some Indo-Guyanese. Alleged. I don't know what is in his heart, and I'm not saying that he is. But you judge people as being angelic by behaving angelic. You judge people as being devilish and evil and satanic by their attitude of behaving satanic and evil. Attitude is what preponderates the reality of human attitude and behavior, and from which you get your judgment. I will certainly have black pudding with David Hinds whenever he is ready. So you mean to say, well, technically, Freddie is hitting and saying whether it is black pudding from an Indian person or black pudding from Afro-Guyanese or white people. White people are the original people that made black pudding, by the way. It is a German thing of making sausages with rice and animal blood in the intestines of the animal. So some people that say that black pudding is the purview of Afro-Guyanese is not really true. While in Guyana, they are known mostly to utilize it and to prepare it. Give them credit for that. So he will have black puddings with David Hinds whenever he's ready. We had black pudding rounds countless times in the past. They were great old friends. I will not refuse to shake the hand of Lincoln Lewis and Sherrod Duncan. Well, Sherrod Duncan was a kind of a personal superhero that I looked up to. But the APNO PNCR politics demolished his superhero personality and character, and he became a strange political bedfellow hater in politics, not even respecting people who have been voted and sitting in the echelons of power or the positions of power. I will not refuse to sit in the same table with Kemraj Ramjatan and share jokes about politics. I'm quite happy to eat at the same table with Kemraj at any wedding or wake or lime we are at. And then you please, Freddie, that's fine, me too, but please do me a favor, ask him, bring up the topic about the Russians. Bring out the topic about the Russians, you know, how he invented that and what a desecration to his respect as a lawyer. But we know lawyers tell a lot of lie to win cases. And so he destroyed himself. But bring up that, please. Adam Harris and I had so many arguments in the past, but Harris will willingly tell you we have a very pleasant relationship. I am also a friend of Adam Harris. Adam Harris, like I'm saying, is also a very great friend of mine. I invited Adam to be our guest on the Gildari Freddie show. When we spoke, I told him viewers would be interested in learning about our days at KAITEUR News. I remain on good terms with Dr. George Norton. Well, I tell you what, George Norton is a scholar patriot. He's also an ambassador of peace of the Universal Peace Federation. We appointed him. He is a man of peace. He has no racist sentiments. And even though he was appointed as a minister by the People's National Congress, or the APNO, he was just and fair and professional to all. He is what I refer to as a true ambassador of peace. I remain in good terms with Dr. George Norton and Ronald Bulkan of the PNC. Well, I had problems with Ronald Bulkan, and I lost a lot of respect for him. As a minister, I made contact on some urgent matters with him. He promised to call, he never called. I called again, he said he will call. I called again, and he said he was called. I think he was one of the most unfit ministers in the People's National Congress. And I think also he was lacking in principles and maturity as a politician. David Patterson and I have friendly and amusing chats when we meet. UK-based PNC activist Norman Brown is someone I consider a friend. I rang Ali Majid of the WPA to ensure that the health of Takuma Ogunsei after my wife and I met Ogunsei at the doctor's office. She'll say he has a good heart. Even though they fight a lot and quarrel politically, we are still human beings, and I say, like he is saying, we must live with respect and love. Outside of our humanness, he says, Freddie Kissoon, we have our work to do, and we must appreciate our patriotic obligation to history. I believe David preaches racially driven sermons, and I will reject them with both political and intellectual vigor. But it's true. Sadly, David Hinds is known as a pudding man. Known as the pudding man, some people refer to him as the pudding boy. He seemed to have some very serious hate of Indo-Guyanese. You know, in the ERC, there was a man sitting there from an ethnic composition who was a total Indian hater, and everything political that his political party didn't lead was always bad and evil. I was very disappointed with that man because supposedly he is intellectual, but he has a terrible, nasty bias against other races, especially Indo-Guyanese. And I will reject them with both intellectual and political vigor. I do not share BENSCHOP's politics. He was jailed by the PPP government, and I guess that is the basis of his continuing anti-PPP venom. Those of you who don't know venom, simple word meaning poison. I was oppressed in modes and ways far more life-threatening than what BENSCHOP endured. But I cannot and will not remain unmoved when I see elections being rigged. That will certainly destroy our country and the future of countless young people who deserve to go out into the world and make something for themselves and for their parents and siblings. I was never political, ladies and gentlemen. I'm now associated as political because of my tryst, an appointment in the Ethnic Relations Commission. If I was not there, very terrible things would have happened. And also, it is a time when God Almighty wanted me in that position. I'm not vying again, I've made it quite clear. To my stakeholders, the people who appointed me, the Muslim community. But I will not be going again. I have done my job. God and the universe had a reason why I had to be a member there. So I could have raised I could have exposed all the evil that was taking place within, and also the rigging of the elections when I was only there along with one other member, Mr. Niyaz Saban. I know that feeling. I was the only one of 7 siblings and went beyond primary school. I went hungry in Wortmanville for years, wearing clothes that even refugees would frown on. I was given an opportunity to see a future, and I saw one. I married a woman that safeguarded that future for me. Well, that was his blessing. Mrs. Freddie Kissoon is an extraordinary, talented, lovely, energetic, professional Guyanese. Met her once in my life. And she's a person who you will always remember as a lady of elegance. He had to have a woman of that caliber. God helped him because we needed him to. We needed this Freddie Kissoon. I want that same opportunity for our young people. I keep deep in my heart that there wasn't any journey waiting to be undertaken when Forbes Burnham ruled Guyana and permanent power ruined Guyana. When men and women can rule a country forever, there is no hope, no optimism, no spirit waiting to fly. Today, look at how the Cuban people are running all over the world looking for happiness. Well, we were like that. Today our people are returning to Guyana. The only reason Guyanese are leaving is because they have family overseas. Guyanese are now returning. Foreigners want to buy and do fake things to get our passports and to become citizens. They're trying to buy citizenship. And this is what happened during the Burnhamite era. And this is why it was good that the People Progressive Party lost the election. It was good that they lost it in 2015 to wake them up a little bit, to realize that the purpose of being appointed is to serve the people. Is to serve the people, and this is why Harman could not have understood when I was telling them, your job is to serve the people, you're a servant of the people, and he tried to destroy me. Eventually he used the same word. I was oppressed, Freddie says, repressed and brutalized in the past. But I cannot let that destroy my psyche and my soul. Remember, even filth was thrown at him. What is his word? Messianic substance. And it was true and it was wrong. I was oppressed. Okay. In the raw. One has to move on, especially in my age. I cannot see my reason why I should not give Dr. Irfan Ali a chance to prove his nationalistic commitment. That is right, Freddie. We will never have one like that again. Maybe many will come after him, but maybe they will follow his way. Yes, we could have many more like him. But they have to follow the path that he, Excellency President Dr. Irfan Ali, is creating for this nation. I do believe in my heart that Anil Nandlal has good intentions about elevating disadvantaged people, and I concur with that. He's truly a people's person. I am not apologetic for supporting the performance of Dr. Ali and Mr. Nandlal. Well, that is good. Right must be right. True must be true. You don't object just for the sake of objecting, Freddie Kissoon. Let us see a good photograph there of Freddie Kissoon. Unless the PPP goes in directions that are unbearable, then I will support the president. Then unbearable, then I will. I think there's a typo here. It should be I will not support the presidency of Dr. Ali. It says he will support if it becomes unbearable. There's a mistake, a typo error there. Others that I've functioned with in the past see the government in a different light. They use reasons, Freddie says, of class, race, culture, and political attitudes to judge an elected government. I cannot go that route. I judge government by my ideological yardstick, the emphasis on helping the poor and powerless. That's true. That's the man. That's how you are. And that's how President Dr. Irfan Ali is. And that is how the new PPC is. When the government of Guyana goes in directions that I disapprove, I will use my pen and voice. For example, when the Ministry of Public Works announced that hindrances, impediments and obstacles on the public pathways must be removed, I acted quickly to express my feelings. But if you are against it, I agree that it should be removed and put in a place where we can have decency in this country. We cannot be the entire country, Freddie Kissoon, a national marketplace. You have to have licenses, law and order, and anyone cannot just go open up a food shop, not being tested, not being cleaned, not being trained. Please see my columns on Monday, June 27, 2022. Headline, I am old now, don't want another confrontation with Mr. Edgell. Oh yes, they had one. Okay, I got to look for that newspaper. Because they had a confrontation in the ERC. I expressed my anxiety that poorer folks trying to make a living will be removed while the rich and the powerful that have hijacked public space for themselves will be untouched. In the end, March 2020 opened my eyes, Freddie says, in ways unimaginable. People I long fought with and I endangered in my life, and I endangered my life for multiple times, put race and class before love of country. I support Ali and Nandlal, who vex. Mr. Freddie Kissoon, as I'm about to end, ladies and gentlemen, you are speaking like a scholar, elegant thinker, accepting reality, and will support the government of the day, as I am. But if they become lawless and rude and to dispossess the people, then I will join you in criticizing and condemning them. I was forced to become a political commentator or through in the raw archives of Guyana Free Media after I saw what was taking place in the attempt to rig the elections at Ashman's building. Prior to that, it was mostly about roads, dams, bridges, people's conditions, and so on. So, friends and family, let us give the government a chance. You haters of the government, wake up and see the wonders of Excellency President Dr. Irfaan Ali. Let us see some of the shots, operator, of President Dr. Irfaan Ali with the Amerindians or the indigenous in the country areas, fixing and addresses and internationally. Give me some shots here quickly of the power of the man. My beloved divine friends and family, brothers and sisters, your friend me, Hajji, Dr. Roshan can in the raw say thank you and farewell, friends, as I am prepared to do my family treat there, and some hot dogs and so on too, while they're waiting for the food to cook with some music and some dance and some joy.